Did you know that BDSM and kink are healthy outlets for aggression, imagination, and attention? Hi, welcome to The Partition, home of kinky wellness. My name is Dana Shergill, and I am a sexual wellness instructor that dives deep into all things kinky. I'm here to show why kinky sexual wellness deserves a rightful spot within the wellness conversation. So let's talk about it.
Hey, and welcome back. On today's episode, I want you to consider starting over your sex life. Why? Because most of us haven't even started. Humans are like monkeys, right? So I guess it makes sense that we are burdened with the monkey see, monkey do concept. Come on, this is how we originally learn things, right? We see our parents and caregivers doing things and then we copy them. And the experiences that we witness shape how we act and do things. And at some point, this reaches into our sex life. Before the internet, hiding sex and sexual acts was easier. Back in the day, advertisements had to be sneaky when they inserted their sexual exploitation for their item to sell. But very quickly, marketing teams and people all over the world realized that sex sells and that they didn't need to be coy about it anymore. Advertisements started putting sexual innuendos, sexually suggested images more deliberately, and far more in your face. Even if it doesn't make sense, advertisements are still sexual. Now, flash forward to today. It seems like you can't sell anything unless it has a sexual image or suggestive content attached to it. However, the images, actions, and behaviors that we see about sex impact how we think, feel, and act about it. Today, there's no escape from sex. From TV, movies, social media, advertisements, and easy access to porn videos, sex is everywhere we look. But with all this sex everywhere, where's the education that should come along with it? Of course, it's easy for us to turn to our school systems and say that our school systems should be responsible for teaching us sex education, but it's not enough. A teacher already has a hard enough job splitting their 45-minute health class among 25 to 35, sometimes 40 students. But this episode isn't for the people in school today. They will grow up with their own sexual wellness challenges, as we all did. No system is perfect. This episode is for the people who grew up like me or who are currently in a situation like I was in. And even for the generation beforehand where sex was not a conversation to be had. I did not grow up in a house where adults talked about sex. It was very hush hush or oversimplified to use a condom or go on birth control, which is exactly what my school system was like. My school education around sex was far more focused on how to prevent babies than to actually explain the power that comes with being connected to your sexual self. And I get it. It's hard to know what you don't know. And for some, you really think you do know it. And I was like that. I really thought that I knew a lot to know about sex since, I was having sex. Some of my early opinions about sex were that it was there to procreate or to produce an orgasm. I viewed sex as a very mechanical operation that hopefully produced an orgasmic ending for everyone involved. And I would mainly focus on positions, looks, and overall very superficial stuff. The thought that sex could be a spiritual, mental, or emotional journey just had never crossed my mind until I started my kinky sexual wellness journey. And through my kinky sexual wellness journey, I learned that even if you're, quote, healthy and mentally stable across the board, you're going to have that feeling that something's missing when you aren't connected to your sexual self. Your sexual self is primal. It's in you. It's part of you. It is you. And regardless if you're single or in a relationship, you need to feel sex positive, at least in the sex that you're having. Sex is there for you. You can have sex with people for their benefit, of course. Millions of people do that. But even the people having sex for others still need to have sex for themselves at some point. When I first started having sex, I used to think that if I got better at the positions and mechanicals of sex, maybe it would get better. So I turned to my sex education teacher, which at the time was pornography, and watched the video and images there and thought, oh, this looks cool. Maybe I'll try that. Oh, that looks cool. Maybe I'll try this. But still, no matter how many videos I watched or positions or techniques or whatever you learn or think you learn from watching pornography, my sex life was just not cutting it. And I started to ask, is this it? Is this what sex is? Like almost in that defeated type of manner. But I don't blame my younger self for thinking that at all. Sex is more often than not taught in a very mechanical and matter of fact kind of manner. But in reality, sex has a depth that even the ocean would be jealous of. And at this point, I honestly believe it's intentional that the mental, emotional, and spiritual side of sex is left out of the conversation. I think it's intentional because once someone starts to discover themselves through their sexual self and are able to see the parts of themselves that they wouldn't show in their day to day life, well, that's an incredibly empowering and therapeutic moment someone can have. I've said it before and I'll say it a million times over, sex can heal, it does heal, but not if you're stuck on level one, which is the mechanical sides of it. You need to continue the sexual path of discovering yourself on those mental, emotional, and spiritual levels. And this is part of your overall well being. It's very easy for us to focus on our physical and mental health. We have advertisements about it all the time. Go to the gym, talk to a therapist, eat better, have a strong and stable sleep schedule, wake up with the sun. But when it comes to our sexual health, I find that the focus tends to float around STDs, STIs, and anything beyond that is kind of like crickets. But our sexual health is connected to our physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual health. A physical example men should know is men who ejaculate 5 times a week are 1/3 less likely to develop prostate cancer or clinical depression. It's the equivalent of cleaning out your ducts, buddies. And regardless, if you're not connected to your sexual self, your self esteem takes a critical hit. Not being connected to your sexual self hurts your mental, emotional, and spiritual health. If you don't think you're sexy, then you're going to walk around this planet feeling and acting like you're not sexy. You're going to have a lower sense of self worth, which can come in many forms. Some people talk bad about themselves in the form of self deprecation jokes. Some people just have this sad aura around them. Some turn to the outside sources for feelings they need to seek inwardly for. Remember, to be connected to your sexual self means to love yourself. And when you love yourself, you can carry yourself differently. You start dressing in the ways that make you feel more confident. You stand taller. You're not afraid to look people in the eye. That's why you need to take action now if your sex life just isn't cutting it for you. And if you're in a relationship, you need to have those tough conversations with your partner about your sex life. Sex is typically the most vulnerable conversation we can have with our partners, but it doesn't have to stay that way. Typically, people who are in a happy relationship want to make their significant other happy. Plus, if you bring up topics to your partner that need work and they just push it to the side, you really need to reevaluate if that person's best interests are with yours. And if you're single, then it's time to sit in front of a mirror and have a conversation with yourself about what you want. As the partnership basics state, areas that you need to cover in regards to your desired outcomes are mental, emotional, physical, spiritual, not just sexual. What do each of these categories look like in the beginning of your sex, the middle and peak of your sex, or at the end in your aftercare? Regardless if you're in a relationship or single, the conversation you have with your sexual self all starts with you. And I want to help open this conversation up. This is why I will be traveling across Canada this summer promoting the benefits of kinky wellness and the BDSM and kink basics. Because I want people to have a basic understanding of what it takes to reach those mental, emotional, and spiritual realms of sex if they're thinking of using BDSM and kink. Remember, BDSM and kink are healthy outlets for AIA. Aggression, imagination, and attention each have a very powerful impact on us that is very deep and profound. Remember, if you don't have a healthy outlet for aggression, you're not going to be able to learn how to control it. You can boil over during the wrong times or get angry at the wrong people. And aggression isn't a bad thing either. Aggression is a natural human emotion that comes up when our boundaries are being pushed and when we feel we need to protect ourselves. And we need a healthy level of aggression to maintain those boundaries. And if you don't have a healthy outlet for imagination, you can't learn how to control it either. Imagination can easily turn against us. It's very easy for us to imagine all the worst case scenarios instead of the positive ones. But when you start to rein in your imagination, you can put it to good use. You can connect to the other versions of yourselves. You can increase your ability to creative problem solve. You can imagine a better life for yourself and the steps that you need to get there. And if you don't have a healthy outlet for attention, then you can feel many negative things inside. Remember, the type of attention we receive has the power to build us up or break us down. It's not wrong to ask for specific attention if someone is willing and consentingly eager to give it to you. And it's also not bad to give attention to someone if that's what you want to do. So, yes, starting at the end of June, I will be leaving Ontario and heading out west with my loving and supportive husband to promote kinky wellness all over the country. I'm very excited to see where this journey takes us and who we're going to meet. So, if you're listening and within Canada and you want me to check out a town near you, please DM me and I will do my best to accommodate. We haven't really set the itinerary in stone yet, but I know I will be leaving Toronto at the end of June to head up to Ottawa, and then we will be taking it from there. I also have some other news. If you're looking to see me earlier and are in the Peterborough area on Friday, June 9th, come check out the Let's Talk About Sex Baby show. It's an event hosted by DJ Ash and will be filled with live entertainment, music, vendors, and education all about sex. Doors open at 7:30 and the show will be going on until 12 a.m. Again, that's on Friday, June 9th, and it's located at the Personal Touch Banquet Hall at 1135 Lansdowne Street West, Peterborough, Ontario. Tickets are $10 per person, and you can buy your tickets on Eventbrite, and I will also put them a link in the description. Seriously, if you're in the area and can come out, you should totally come. There's going to be a $400 door prize that Oasis Aqua Lounge generously provided, which includes 2 club passes, 2-month passes for their Oasis online platform, a t-shirt, tank top, travel bag, sunglasses, phone charger, I think, all sorts of goodies. But anyways, it's worth $400. And there really is going to be something for everyone. So there's a burlesque show, spanking class, flogger demonstration, toy talk, I believe, fashion show, a holistic sex expert will be their relationship coach. I will also be on stage at 9 p.m. So make sure to check me out. And I will also be giving out a door prize, which is kind of like a BDSM and kink intro set. So make sure to come stop on by. But yes, this summer I will be across the country, maybe in an adult store near you. And on June 9th, I will be at the Let's Talk About Sex Baby show. But for now, you can catch all my latest updates on Instagram. And in the meantime, ask yourself if your sex life is giving you everything you should, and consider the possibility that it hasn't even started. But that's it for me. Thank you so much for listening. Can't wait to be with you next week. And if you can't wait for the BDSM and Kink Basics to be in the store near you, you can always find it at www.thepartition.life. And as always, stay kinky.